Okay, should be good.
Okay. All right, I will call us to order. Then it'd be 7 o'clock. And Jay, if you'll give us the agenda items as they come up.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take roll call first, right?
Yes, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Chris Anson,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Eddie Foreman, John Kramer, Larry Church,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here.
Bill Watland,
Here.
Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
Okay.
Consideration action of consent agenda.
Now, we're on what, the Airport Authority or?
Yes, sir. Airport Authority.
Okay, yes, we'll do the consent agenda.
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes,
Motion passes.
there being nothing taken from the consent agenda, or are we at the, any comments from the? Anyone have any comments or presentation to the Airport Authority? If not, then
The next item is approvals and acceptances bids. Number one, consideration of possible action to approve the low bid of $247,775 from Third Generational Electrical Inc. for the lighting rehabilitation project at the airport, grant SRE 21-5 with a $25,000 match from the city.
all right, that matter is before us. Any comments, questions?
That's 25,000 in the budget.
Yes, sir.
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes,
Motion passes. Item number two, consideration and possible action to approve the low bid of $246,018 from Tri-City Seal for Phase 1 of the North Hangar Taxiway and Apron Pavement Project at the airport.
You may recall that we have received several grants. This is another grant. We are in the process of trying to move much of what is currently occupying the south end of the runway to the north end. So we're hopeful that this is going to provide a much more updated and more appealing appearance to our front door, which is our airport. As you know, many of our corporate people that are looking for site locations visit our airport first. So this is going to be a tremendous upgrade.
Motion to approve.
Second.
roll call.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes,
Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is adjournment, Mr. Walland.
a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Is the Gas Authority next?
Yes, Gas Authority is next.
Yeah. Roll call.
Larry Church,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
Bill Watland,
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here.
John Kramer, Chris Anson,
Here.
Eddie Foreman, Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
All right, consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Are there any comments or questions from the audience?
No, sir, we don't.
Okay, then we move on.
Adjournment.
Roll call. No, we just did that all in favor. I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. And that brings us then,
Utilities Authority,
roll call.
John Kramer, Trace Connor,
Here.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Bill Watland,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Eddie Foreman, Larry Church,
Here.
Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
Very well, and I do have the agenda now, so we're
Okay.
okay, Jay.
All right.
Okay, we're ready for consideration and action of the consent agenda.
Can barely hear you, Bill.
Consent agenda,
Motion to approve.
Second.
roll call.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Tim Poplin, Mr. Poplin.
He's frozen.
Did we lose him?
He's frozen.
Oh, frozen. Okay. Larry Church,
Yes.
motion passes.
There are no items removed from the consent agenda. Are there any appearances or petitions from the audience?
No, sir, there's not.
All right, then we move into current business, discussion and possible action regarding possible design ideas for the logos on the two water towers that are being rehabilitated.
Are we looking at different logos than what's on like the giant tower here by my house?
Yes, sir. If give me 1 second, we're going to be scrolling a choice of three in front of you, and none of those are set in stone until you guys tell me this is the one that you want. This would be option one. We do have two towers. One is on A Street behind the Public Works or the Police Department. And the next one will be on Bourne Boulevard. It currently has a Seminole State logo on it, but this is what we've come up in terms of recommendations for you guys to look at. If you choose none of these, then we'll go back to the drawing board and start all over. But the renovation of these two water towers is underway, and we think it's time for us to choose one or maybe one each of, you can choose different things for different towers, but it's up to you guys. So Sean, if you'll, I see that you scrolled through them quickly. This one with the green bottom, I would say is option one. Does everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, hello, Eddie Foreman. Eddie just joined us. So this one I think is going to be option two. It has the green band around the very bottom with the Seminole, Oklahoma logo, established 1906. And then a more simple format would be option three. And it looks like this. More of a striped look than the diamond look. So these are the best that your staff could develop. I know Larry Church wanted it to be painted like a watermelon.
Yes, sir. A striped watermelon.
Ellen, that didn't make it through our cutting room floor, but if you guys want it back on there, we can certainly do that. So we're
Well,
gonna
I never get what I want, so
not,
All,
leave it at that.
so
all three of these, we look at the same cost, no matter what.
yes, the cost is included, yes. We can go with different colors, different designs. We just wanted to put something in front of you. It needs to happen pretty quick. We wanted to put something in front of you and let you kind of tell us if you want it red, white, and blue, we can do that. It's really up to you guys.
Number 3 is easiest for me to read.
I like number 3, but I do have a question. We don't have our own logo that the city uses on any water tower. Has that been considered? Is there a problem with that one?
Well, Mr. Watland can probably speak to that better than I can. As far as I know, our current legal city logo is actually the logo of the Seminole Nation. Is that accurate, Bill?
Almost. The difference is that the Indian in the canoe is seated in the Seminole Nation seal. He's standing. And this, of course, the use of this adaptation of the seal was granted by the Seminole Nation General Council back in 1970, I think 73.
So the logo we have on Facebook and on all of our trucks and things is not the actual City of Seminole logo then?
No.
And somewhere there is a city flag that has that on it, and I've seen it in the last 15 years, but I don't know where it is now.
The logo that you see on some of the letterhead was actually done by Hope down at TS&H. And that was never officially adopted to be. It's just something that we use from time to time.
I'm okay with any of those. I don't have a preference, but
Well, guys, don't let my t-shirt give you any ideas.
Steve? Steve,
Yes, sir.
yes, Eddie. Would you think in the future that if we adopt one of these, that it would end up being on like stationery? And maybe even if you use it, would you try and replicate the diamond on city-owned vehicles? Is that a thought? Or are we just worried about the water tower?
At this point, I'm only proposing the water tower.
Okay.
There really hasn't been any forethought as to, hey, we can change our whole stationery over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with Larry on the number 3 because I think it's a little bit bigger, the Seminole is, and it's a little easier to read. So unless anybody else has any objections, I'd make a motion that we go with number 3.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's made and seconded. Roll call?
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
yes.
Tim Poplin. Oh, Larry Church.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I was,
All right.
excuse me, I was here for the vote. Do I not?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Foreman. I forgot to add you. Yes, sir. What is your vote?
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
All
You
right.
could put Tim down. I'm back on. I voted yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've got you. Thank you.
Okay. I had to reboot. Sorry.
No
Okay,
problem.
we need to look at the second tower then.
So do we want a different design on each of them, or do we want to go with number 3 on both? Is that the question?
It's up to you guys. What do you want to do?
I say we keep it simple. Let's just do the same on both.
Yes, I would agree.
Is that a motion?
I
I'll
make a
make-
motion, excuse me, Corey, I'm
No,
sorry.
you go right ahead.
I make a motion to use the number 3 on both towers.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes,
Larry Church.
Yes,
Motion passes.
There being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
all right.
Aye.
So ordered. We are adjourned. We then go to the regular meeting of the city council. We'll call that to order. Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here,
Trace Connor,
Here.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Eddie Foreman,
here.
Bill Watland,
Here.
John Kramer, and Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
Very well. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Let us pray. Chabujazi Bado Poisti Mogan Moman Potolofa Seminole Pomikosapka Omis Momat Poisti Omada Shafikni. Lord, we thank you for all our people and for the city of Seminole. We pray that all our people may be healthy. Amen.
Man.
We move then to remarks and inquiries. The mayor's not here, so he doesn't get to say anything. Then we move to Ward 1. I'm going to pass to the end of this, so we'll ask Larry Church if he has comments for us.
Well, a couple of things. I'd like to comment briefly about COVID-19 in Seminole County. It's back when we first talked about it and gave some consideration to a mask mandate. I think we had about 42. Now we have 620 some cases. Went from 3 deaths to 6 deaths during that time. We've just got to do better. And last time I had mentioned something about discussion for a need to have a diversity consultant or to hire a diversity consultant, and not so much that I think that Seminole is prejudiced enough that, you know, that it's affecting our hiring practices and stuff, but we do have that appearance. So to be a Cassandra again, I'm just saying I think that would be ahead of the curve if we would hire a consultant long enough to tell us, you know, can we improve our practices? Because, you know, I'm no white man. And I look at the pictures here, everybody except Corey, he's still just a baby. But all of us folks are raised in Oklahoma, and all of us are prejudiced. And I think that we just need to get that out of the way before we start having some kinds of problems because of, I mean, I don't think that we're out of line or anything like that. I just think that we need to make sure that we've demonstrated that we've done what we can. Other than that, do well and be safe. wear a mask, wash your hands. Thank you.
Inga. Ward 2, John Kramer. John's not here, is he?
That's right.
Eddie Foreman?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up point. I think there's been an increase in crime in my ward. Somebody stole one of my political signs out of my yard. So I'm sorry.
Welcome to Seminole.
I don't know why they only took one, but that's okay. Maybe they put it in their yard. I don't know.
They had a home for it.
But no, I'm just not deep enough into what's going on to understand. I do agree with Larry, though, that looking at the idea of maybe having somebody talk about diversity and inclusion training might be a thing to consider in the future, depending on budget. I hope that mentioning budget, Steve approves of that. So, yeah.
Oh, Bill will pay for it. He has the money.
Okay. No worries then. No,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ward 3, Corey Crabtree.
I have nothing. Go ahead.
Tim Poplin.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Ward 4, Chris Anson.
I have nothing.
Trace Connor.
I also have nothing. Thank you.
Well, that leaves it with me, and I just have one thing to say, and that is my current term of office expires next April, and I will be 87 years old and have served almost 19 years on this council. So I just want to let you know I am not running for re-election. I think it's time to get someone younger and
Boo.
new voices.
Boo.
Okay, we're ready for consideration and action of the consent agenda.
Wait, I heard a motion to deny.
Yes.
Ruled out of order. Consideration.
Let you
and
go at
action of the
90.
consent
You can go at 90.
agenda. Is there a
So
motion in regard to the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
There are no items removed from the consent agenda. So are there any appearances or petitions from the audience?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right, we move to approvals and acceptances, resolutions. Number 1, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2020-11, the resolution declaring October as Fair Housing Month for the city of Seminole.
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call?
Tim Poplin,
Yes, sir.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 2, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2020-12, a resolution setting guidelines and fees for long-term camping at Sportsman's Lake and committing proceeds from the collection of the fee to lake operations.
This is something we do annually, so it's not a
Yeah.
change.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call?
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 3, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2020-13, a resolution approving a residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for the city of Seminole in association with accepting a community development block grant for public facility improvements.
So you probably recall that we got a substantial grant under the Community Development Block Grant. And one of the things that we have to do is to assure them that if we displace anyone with the grant or do anything of that nature, we will provide location assistance to them. So in this case, our project is called that, but all of the grants that go through CDBG require this part of the package.
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
yes,
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We move next to ordinances. Item number 4 on the agenda, consideration and possible action to approve ordinance number 1248. And
Okay.
ordinance,
You leaned away from the mic.
oh, sorry. This is ordinance number 1248, an ordinance rezoning certain property at 219 West Strothers from R2, two-family residential, to C2, general commercial.
What's the reason?
They're actually wanting to commercial facility. This would be, I'm going to say roughly west of the Family Dollar. And so it's kind of between the Dollar and the Quick Stop on Strother. And they're wanting a commercial business there. You may recall that our 2030 plan kind of made Strother our corridor, a new commercial development corridor. We've had many businesses located there, and prior to our ordinances, many of them located in residential areas incorrectly. But during the 2030 planning period, the community kind of adopted that would be kind of a redevelopment area for commercial activity. And that's absolutely the way that the Planning Commission saw it, and they're recommending approval.
so this is right across from Heartland Family Church, right? That one's that empty lot.
Was there any opposition from any of the residents surrounding the area?
Yes, but I wasn't there for that. Let me see if Sharon is still on. I was there for the last Planning Commission, but I did not see the opposition. So is Sharon on here? I don't see her.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. Can you talk to the opposition that was?
Yes, we did have Ed and Linda Staley who opposed it, and we had 2 people who had no opinion either way, and we had a person who owns a house in that area but does not live there call and or email and voice their opposition. Those are the only contact I had.
What's the proposed business that wants to use it? Can you
So-
say that?
Proposed business would be a donut shop. I think they're thinking about moving out of the strip mall and opening their own drive-through shop there. However, I'll caution this kind of the same way that I did with the Planning Commission, that this is more of a commercial activities approval, because we don't know how long startup businesses are going to last, right? So you're really approving a commercial activity, not necessarily the type of business. Now, Sharon, you might review with them what types of businesses would be allowed in that zoning once it's rezoned. If let's say, for example, the donut shop lasts 2 years and they sell it to someone and move to a much bigger shop on Milt Phillips, that zoning would stay in place. So it's important for you to know what would be allowed there. Sharon, do you have for us what that would be allowed to do under that zoning?
Yeah, the donut shop is a good example. There also allowed would be doctor's offices, florist shops, things with drive up and drive through traffic, but not heavy traffic.
So one of the considerations that went into this, if we see a significant uptick in traffic, we don't anticipate that. But if the full corridor develops, I would say that it would just simply be a matter of striping to turn that into a 3-lane road with a turn lane, a center turn lane, because that section of Strother is extremely wide. In fact, when I went out there and measured it, it probably could hold a 4-lane and be just fine. But before we went to a full 4-lane, I think if the traffic increases substantially, it's already an artery for us. We could stripe it for a 3-lane with the center lane being a turn lane.
Aren't those 2 blocks there? I mean, a lot of that's already kind of commercial between the funeral home, the quick stop, there's a garage over there. So we only had basically 2 people oppose it out of how many letters were sent?
We sent out 30 letters.
All right, I'm going to motion that we approve it.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 5, consideration and possible action to approve ordinance number 1249 and ordinance rezoning certain property at 2731 North Ideal from R2, 2-family residential, to C3, commercial.
Where is this at?
That's out by our famous traffic circle, right?
No, sir. That would be out near the Children's Museum.
Oh, okay, yes, other end of it.
Okay, due north of the OG&E yard.
Yes.
So it backs up to part of the Children's Museum property, the very back of the Children's Museum property, but it directly across the street would be the backyard of Aero Pump and Supply. So the only opposition that I heard came from Dr. Fisher, who felt like that was a little close to him, and he was not in favor of it.
Is there a proposed business wanting that area, or are we just doing this just to rezone for future use?
So the story that I'm told is that the current occupant has been, he needs to work and he wants to be able to do a tire shop out of that facility. And he's asking to be rezoned to allow him to do that.
And this was approved by the Planning Commission?
Yes, sir.
That's kind of their job. The Planning Commission, I'm sure they looked every avenue and checked it all out. I move to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 6, consideration and possible action to approve ordinance number 1250, an ordinance rezoning certain property at 1405 North Milt Phillips from R2, two-family residential, to C3 commercial.
Where is this one? 1405. Which property is it?
Explanation, please, Vice Mayor.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, I'm unmuted now. This would be the Chevrolet dealership. There are portions of their property that were never properly zoned, so this is a little bit of cleanup. And then the next item on the agenda would be the street that was never vacated. We actually vacated the street up to them, but we never vacated the street that was actually on the Chevrolet dealership property. So this is just a matter of cleanup and allowing them to go forward with their plans to renovate the current facility and expand.
Move to approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yes.
Number 7, consideration of possible action to approve ordinance number 1251, an ordinance vacating a street easement at 1405 North Milt Phillips as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That moves us then to current business. Item number 8, consideration and possible action regarding trick-or-treat events as they relate to COVID-19 protocols and setting a trick-or-treat date for the city of Seminole. I'm sure Chris will
What
talk about the
COVID-19
date.
protocols?
Pardon?
What protocols?
That's what we're here to discuss, Larry, is we want to know what the council's desires are. I've heard everything from other communities that that the kids are going to trick or treat anyway. If you don't want to have trick or treaters, then turn your light off. That seems to be a popular one. I'm not aware of any that are saying no trick or treaters. Several of them are requiring masks to be worn if you give out candy or if you're trick or treating. And they didn't put the one that I saw did not put an age limitation on the trick or treaters wearing masks. So it's kind of all over the board on the restrictions on it.
How about an age limit for trick or treaters in general? I'm just kidding.
You mean I can't go?
Bill, you can go anywhere you want.
He's earned that right.
Exactly. We're not stopping you.
I have a few costumes I'd like to put you in, Bill.
I'll bet.
Tutu, you got a tutu?
I mean, I feel like if we don't designate a night, they're going to do what they want. And then you're going to have several different nights. And at that point, you can't control traffic. You can't alert your police force to be out for what may happen. I mean, I don't know. It's not an easy one, but I guess I don't think you're gonna be able to stop it we're gonna have to designate a night, in my opinion, but.
Isn't Halloween already on Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've done trick or treat on some different dates
Yeah.
in the past before, but I mean, maybe we should just stick with Saturday night and call it good. And if you don't want people at your door and don't want people there, that's the common rule. Leave your light off. I mean, we can't control it. I mean, you can't tell the business not to do something inside. You know, I mean, that churches are going to do some small stuff. I mean, they're not going to be the same scale they would have been before, but I don't think we can. I don't think we
I
can
agree
stop.
with, I second that, Corey. Let people use their heads and do what they need to do. But I think we need to give a certain night. And I don't have a problem with whatever y'all want at night. It is fine, but just let people do what they do and use their heads.
You know, maybe we should caution people to maybe stick with family and friends and not go to every house in the neighborhood. I mean, that might be something we can caution people with. I mean, there's
They're
no
grown ups.
Yeah. But
I think, yeah, if y'all both made motions, but I think there needs to be a time added if we're going to do it, like a start and a stop time. Maybe, I think most of the time when I grew up and been on council, it's usually been like roughly 6 to 9. And it's pretty much always been, signified by people who have their porch lights on are the ones handing out candy. And if they're not on, they're not handing out candy. I really don't have much of a dog in the fight anymore. My kids don't really trick or treat anymore. So
I don't either. Anybody else had any comments?
Do we have a definitive motion? Corey, do you want to present one?
I guess we could just make the motion that we do Halloween on March 31st from 6 to 9 and just ask
October
people.
the 31st?
October 31st, sorry. Just ask.
From 6 to 9?
Were you trying to postpone Halloween, Corey?
Yeah. I'm
Let's
ready to
do
go
it
home.
December too, okay?
Sorry. But just to remind people to use extreme caution and, with what they're doing.
I second
Running
it.
small crowds.
Okay,
I second it.
roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next item, number 9, consideration and possible action to approve the lease agreement with Seminole's Lion Club for Magnolia Park from November 1, 2020 through January 10, 2021 for the annual Snowman Wonderland Festival.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 10, consideration and possible action to approve accepting an emergency management performance grant in the amount of $10,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 11, consideration and possible action to approve the proposal from Rogers EMS Consulting to write a grant for 2 new LifePak 15 cardiac monitors valued at approximately $100,000 at a cost of $2,000 if the grant is approved, with additional fees of $4,500 to be reimbursed from the grant proceeds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Bill Watland.
Yes.
Motion passes.
brings us to reports from the city manager.
I want to send out a special welcome to our youth council tonight. They are gathered socially distanced in our auditorium here at City Hall. We're really excited to have young people interested in government and how things work. So I wanted to send out a special welcome to them. Brad Carter and I had a few minutes with them before the city council meeting, and it's really exciting to see young people getting involved, and we're excited to have them. You will see in the coming weeks some advertising either on social media and perhaps in the newspaper with regard to recruiting volunteers. We need volunteers in both the fire department and the police department. And I would add that I personally, I can't say this for positive, but I personally feel like this is a great introduction into a new career. Many of our people that are now employed at the fire department and in the police department came from the volunteer fire ranks or the same as police department. So we need your help. And if you know of anyone that is of that age that this would benefit them, we will pay to have them trained, and we'll make sure that they're taken care of, and they'll learn from some of the best how to protect this community. So we really need help. Please put the word out for us. I'll add to that our police and fire are doing a fantastic job right now. I'm really proud of the way that they're handling themselves in a pandemic, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't know that I could have scripted it any better. In fact, I probably couldn't have dreamed that it would be executed as well as we've done it. So, and that probably needs to be said of all of our public works crews that are exposed to the COVID-19 on a daily basis. They've been brave in the way that they handle themselves, and I'm really proud of that. With regard to Eddie and his crime spree, I will tell you that the police department has received a grant and will be installing more cameras around town. I don't know that I've got one specifically pointed at your front lawn, Eddie.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. All right. And the last thing, I guess I need some direction, and it's not on the agenda for discussion, but maybe I need to just have an audience with regard to the diversity training that is being talked about. I'm not sure if that is diversity training for our employees or if that is for city council members or recruitment of diversity for future offices. I wasn't really clear on how we're doing that, because I will say that from an employee standpoint, I feel certain that we are well represented by the percentage of our employees that are that you would consider diverse. And I'm actually proud of that fact. We spend a lot of time game planning our recruitment and how that happens. And so far, we've got I feel a very diverse group of employees. So if I need more training, be glad to implement that. We just need to know if you're looking at a department level, at a city employee wide level, or a city council level. So that's all I have.
Thank you. City Attorney?
Well, I am here. I've had some connectivity problems, so you probably don't see my audio, but I'm here at the municipal building. I'd like to tell Eddie that I too have been a victim of crime. Instead of somebody pulling up the signs, somebody's been putting them in my yard. And I checked on my security camera thinking I was going to catch the culprit and found out it was my wife. So anyway, you got to know the politics in my house to understand that. But I just wanted to tell the council that you were seeing a lot more or less, as you know, tall weeds and grass due to the growing season ending, but seeing an increase in the roundabout violations. And most of these are truckers. I still don't understand it. They continue to drive on the surface, and I was hoping the word would get out more than it has, but I just don't. I think we counted, I can't remember how many signs that are up on both sides of that particular area, and I want to say there was 13, but and some of those are digital, and they continue to violate it. It doesn't register with me very well. But anyway, our docket is full of those tomorrow. But other than that, I really don't have anything else to report to the council.
Brad, have you thought about an amendment to the ordinance so if those drivers get a minimum of 10 days in jail? I'm serious about that. That will put a stop to that real quick.
Well, no, I haven't. I guess I could check Title 47 and see if that's part of the code there that allows for that. I guess we could set our own misdemeanor for that offense, but definitely something I'll look into.
Well, before we do that, to be fair, are those roadways updated on all the maps? I know we were having some issues with some mapping programs not updating those. Just to be fair, I mean, just
to my knowledge, yes, and I'm very sensitive to that, and I'll let the council know that I did dismiss one because that particular map or system, whatever it was not updated, but it was not one that I would consider a mainstream piece of equipment. But nevertheless, I was convinced otherwise and gave him the benefit of the doubt. But it's the ones that high center on it that try to traverse it that are the ones that we're really being very particular about. And I usually Steve knows this, and so does Bryant, but the damage that's done to that needs to be repaid. And that's what that's what's been stressed. And insurance companies have paid a couple of those, and some of those drivers have paid out of pocket. So Steve's aware of that. And I hope that the word gets out a little bit more. But Bryant and the crew have done a really good job of marking those particular entrances on Bourne Boulevard, and those truckers should be very well aware not to turn on that street.
Just to cabbage onto that, Mr. Vice Mayor, everything that we have in place, and I'm talking about actually before you get on the roadway, is all compliant with the Uniform Traffic Code. And that is the Uniform Traffic Control Devices are national. This is something that is standard nationally. And we have already set that up. Actually, ODOT paid for all of that to be re-signed. What you actually see on the roadway itself, on Bourne and on Broadway, are things that we've done over and above what the code actually calls for. So.
Steve, for what it's worth too, Mr. Vice Mayor, a lot of these truckers actually admit when they turn on the road that, oh, you know what, I wasn't paying attention, or I just, yeah, I saw it, but I didn't have a place to turn around. No excuse, really. I mean, I can be sympathetic to some of those, but some of these drivers are local drivers, and that's what kind of irritates me a little bit. They're all well aware of the not all of them, but many of them are aware of the prohibition of driving on that particular thoroughfare. So
Just another case of big government infringing on our rights.
that's all I have, Mr. Vice Mayor.
All right, very well. Then we're ready to go into executive session. Consideration and possible action to enter into executive session under Oklahoma Statute 25, Section 307B1, discussing the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of any individual salaried public officer or employee, the fire chief. Is there a motion to go into executive session at this time?
I'll make.
So
a motion.
moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.